today's video isn't going to be much more than just a weather update, but it's an important update because I'm showing a pattern that's leading up to something. Due to the amount of rain that we've already got, I've been expecting some flooding. I went to do the rail trail today, the first river, the South Saugeen River, and it doesn't look like it's changed any at the moment. When I get to the park, the Saugeen River, it's kind of confusing when I say that, Saugeen, South Saugeen, but this one's just Saugeen, and it's up a bit, but it's not as high as I expected it to be. But it will be, because we got more on the way. The next morning, 10:22, we get our weather statement. Significant rain expected later this weekend into Monday. An intensifying low-pressure system emerging from Texas is forecast to soak southern portions of the province beginning later tonight for southern Ontario and elsewhere on Sunday. Several rounds of rain are expected, with some embedded heavier thunderstorms in many areas. Total general rainfall amounts of 20 to 40 millimeters are anticipated through Monday before it tapers off, but some areas which receive more persistent thunderstorms are likely to be impacted by 50 to 75 millimeters. That's a lot. Rainfall warnings are likely to be issued for some regions. So we definitely got more. This was 10:22 in the morning, and later on in the afternoon at 2:24, it's on its way. Got this big mass of moisture. It's kind of moving northeast, and right in the middle of all those lakes there is where I am in Ontario, and it's coming straight at us. So expecting some more. So later that night, or technically 1:21 Sunday morning, we get our weather statement updated to rainfall warning, and basically all it says is rain, at times heavy, is expected. So nothing really unexpected with that. It just goes into the basic stuff. Heavy downpours can cause flash floods and water pooling on roads. Localized flooding in low-lying areas is possible. Rainfall warnings are issued when significant rainfall is expected. Please continue to monitor. All the basic stuff. So if it's upgraded to a warning, that means we're definitely going to get something. I was busy working on the next video to upload to YouTube. I completely forgot it was raining. It was supposed to rain tonight. I got everything done. Get the video done, and it's ready to start rendering. I went downstairs and made my last coffee for tonight. And I was about to go to bed, and I noticed I heard rain hitting the window. And I was like, oh yeah, it was supposed to rain tonight. So I'm looking at the radar map here. I am right in this area, actually maybe right about there. Now I had this map going at 5 times speed. I zoomed in and all of a sudden it slowed down again. They keep making changes to this website. Sometimes the 5 times will work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes I can close this ad, sometimes I can't, like tonight I can't. So I'm not able to look for tornadoes because it's hidden behind this stupid advertisement. I got the radar up here anyways. So the rain's coming. We're not anything heavy at the moment, but there is more on the way. But there is something here that really gets my attention. When I zoom out here, now it's speeding up. But this was all one big system. It's kind of broke up now. So I'm going to get into the severe parts here. And down here, it's last flash flood watch. And for us, A special weather statement still been updated 9/22. The rain, at times heavy, is expected. Heavy rainfall expected today into Monday. An intensifying low-pressure system emerging from Texas is forecast to soak southern portions of the province beginning early this morning. It will not be a continuous rain, but several rounds of heavier rain are expected, with some embedded thunderstorms in many areas. Total general rainfall amounts of 40 to 60 millimeters are anticipated through Monday before it tapers off, but some areas will receive more persistent thunderstorms. Oh, let me try that again. But some areas which receive more persistent thunderstorms are likely to be impacted amounts up to 75 millimeters. That's a lot of rain. Heavy downpours can cause flash floods and water pooling on roads. Localized flooding in low-lying areas is possible. Rainfall warnings are issued when significant rainfall is expected. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. Yada 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 yada. So that is that. Now, when I zoom out even further, and we look down in the southern states here, and what do we see? I see snow. Winter storm warning. Now this is Texas and Oklahoma. That is very strange to me. These are areas that, they get hot, they get a lot of heat, and they get tornadoes. I'm not used to seeing winter storms in these areas. That blows my mind. I find that quite amazing. But anyways, it is what it is. All this moisture is coming up our way the next little while, and it's still building. So unless everything changes directions, this is all gonna come up our way. So this is really, really been a very wet spring. And at this point, I'm going to predict we are going to have lots of mosquitoes. Last year, we had kind of a bit of a drought condition for most of the summer, so that killed the mosquito population pretty good. So, and that was pretty nice, because when I did go out at night on my bike, holy cow, excuse me, and I didn't really have too much of a problem with the mosquitoes, because there just weren't many around. Because mosquitoes need standing water to lay their eggs in, and if we have drought conditions, we don't have much standing water. So we don't have many mosquitoes. But this year I'm gonna guess that's not going to be the case. So just to give a little more detail, what we're experiencing right now. A powerful Texas low that's been a catalyst for extensive deadly flooding in the U.S. South is approaching the Great Lakes region, bringing with it torrential downpours and a thunderstorm risk with the potential for flooding. Full-fledged rainfall warnings were issued for parts of southern Ontario on Sunday, with a special weather statement in effect elsewhere. The low's track is set to bring the heaviest amounts of rain to areas east of the Great Lakes through all of all of southern Ontario can expect to see significant rainfall totals as the bulk of the system moves through on Monday. I heard time reading tonight. North of Lake Superior, excuse me, the system will be marked by periods of snow and freezing rain, with temperatures hovering around the 0 degrees Celsius mark, which is freezing. This mixed precipitation and snow will also slide through the nickel belt as the system departs the area Tuesday night. Here's what to expect as the system plays out. Rainfall warnings in effect for parts of southern Ontario from Kincardine to Algonquin Park, and that includes us. Special weather statements for heavy rain extend south of this region from Goderich to Cornwall, including Ottawa. Wow. Special weather statements are also in effect along the northern shores of Georgian Bay through North Bay. Leading edge of the system has already moved into central Ontario and cottage country. Bulk of rainfall pushes into the south overnight Sunday and Monday morning. The main front clears eastern Ontario by Tuesday AM, but wraparound showers will linger for most through Tuesday evening. Snowfall begins north and east of Superior Monday afternoon, ending through the day on Tuesday. I don't like that word. Rain started tracking into southern Ontario on Sunday, but the main push of precipitation arrives overnight and early Monday. An all-day rain is likely for most as both the warm and cold fronts track across the region, though southwestern Ontario will start to clear through the later afternoon hours once the cold front passes. Though the bulk of the rainfall tracks out of Ontario by Monday night, light showers are likely Tuesday as a couple of troughs cycle through behind the departing low. Thunderstorms rumbled across parts of Ontario Sunday evening, spawning a brief severe thunderstorm warning along the north shores of Lake Erie as well south of us. The threat expands eastward on Monday as the cold front starts to shove through southern Ontario. At the moment, the best risk for severe storms seems to be north of Lake Ontario, though the afternoon and evening hours where storms producing damaging winds are possible. The Weather Network Forecast Center also cautions that localized flooding is a risk with storms in addition to the larger system's overall rainfall. As the cold front tracks across southeastern Ontario, there is the potential for flooding rains, as thunderstorms are likely to drop heavy rainfall within a short period of time. For northern Ontario, this system will bring another round of snowfall in what has already been a very snowy spring for... Okay, the typo there kind of messed me up. A very snowy spring for the region, along with a messy mix near the lakeshore. Heavier snow is likely further north toward Kapuskasing and Geraldton, with temperatures hovering just at the freezing mark. Through the day Monday, precipitation will be in the form of snow, with some mixing right along the shores of Lake Superior. Snowfall continues through Monday night, extending and eventually ending across northwestern Ontario Tuesday morning, though it will linger into northeast through Tuesday night as the system shifts eastward. That took a lot to read that. So thankfully we're just getting snow. Everybody north of us, or rain, sorry. Everybody north of us is getting snow. I really don't want to see any more of that. I've had enough of that for this year. As April transitions into May, it kind of passes on the water torch. It says, here you go, carry on. So I'm still going. Lots of water around right now, but there's a break in the rain. And it's going to be for a few hours, so I'm going out here at ES 950 to the rail trail. I'm expecting today the rivers aren't going to look like they did yesterday. For two reasons. One, because the rivers tend to peak about an hour or 24 hours after the rain has stopped, and I was expecting them to be up yesterday and they weren't. So today I'm expecting it with all the extra rain that we've had added into it. So I'm gonna go and take a look and see what I can see. And just like I figured, it's on its way up. This one's the South Saugeen River, and it's sourced from the south. It drains all the land to the south of us. And the main Saugeen River is north and east. And the storm system was traveling from southwest to northeast, so There's no doubt in my mind that the other river, the main Saugeen River, is going to be up as well. Because basically the rain was all around us. So it's going to be draining from every direction. And so that's what I'm expecting to see next. Before I even get to the Saugeen River, I can tell that it's up. As the swamps here beside the rail trail are flooded. The one on the right is pretty much always there, but it's up higher. And to the left, the river has come through the floodplain, approaching the rail trail. And it normally dries out after the winter melt, and it's all drained away. This place kind of gets flooded a little bit, and then it just kind of dries out. All the water's back in here again. So, it's not, like I say, it's not anything significant, but I'm expecting when I get to the park to see the water up pretty high. Now once I get down the park, you can see all the ponding. That's not actually from the river, it's just low points. That's how much water we got, it's just collected all down there. It kind of flooded the grass a little bit, which is typical when we get a lot of rain. As for the river itself, it is definitely up. Actually a little bit higher than I expected it to be, but it's still on its way up anyways. It's reached pretty much the top of the boat ramp, so it's up pretty good. So I'm guessing if we get any more rain, it's going to be up in the park itself. You want? Nice job. There's quite a bit there now. It amazes me the amount of water that flows through these rivers. Like even just the basic amount in the summertime. Let's think about the flow rates, and then when the floods come through, there's so many more times the amount of water. Yeah, it amazes me, that much water. I have no idea why I picked today to be my first day of off-roading, as I left the shadow of the camera on my head. Everything's all muddy right now. And the S950 is pretty good at off-roading, but when it comes to mud, it just doesn't like them. And I have to lean forward as it is to keep it from wheeling, because this thing wheelies so easily. The seat reclined back so far. But I'm determined. And the tire's spinning there, spinning mud all over the place, which I haven't noticed yet. The whole back of the scooter, and I had the armrest up. The armrest is all covered in mud, which I haven't noticed just yet. But I'm about to, right about now. It's like, ah, crap. But that's the only problem I had. I mentioned earlier that I had a few hours before the rain came back to us. That was just an estimate. And apparently I didn't estimate right. You can see all they have these storm clouds off to the south there. And the storm's coming towards us again. And then when I turn towards the west, it looks even worse. A big mass of dark gray clouds about to cover up the sun again. So I'm kind of heading home anyway, so I'm not really too worried about it. I was pretty much dressed for wind. Dressed for the rain anyways. If I got wet, it wouldn't make any difference. But I just wasn't expecting. So it's kind of coming back a little quicker than I expected it to. And it drives me nuts every time I pull on my driveway and I see the monster sitting there. It pains me so much to not be able to drive that right now. Or not fully anyways. I want to do the rail trail on it. I'm just so desperate to get it moving and going. Get something with it. They're still waiting. Well, here we go again. Rainfall warning. And it says the exact same thing. Rain, at times heavy, is expected. There's no change. It's just next round. For some reason I didn't record audio for this, so I'm just gonna have to wing it. Basically what I'm doing here is I got zoomed out showing you the entire system here. All the moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, you know, wrapping around. There's this tiny little low system there, and it's almost like it's hitting a ceiling. It's kind of spreading out in both directions. And off to the west there, coming across the prairies, we have this other system that's coming towards us. It's going to join up with it, and while things aren't havoc already, they will be when that happens. You get cold air coming down and warm air coming up, and it's all moisture laden. It's just going to be a mess. So it's pretty wicked. It's a very, very large low pressure system. That's the one up in Canada. It looks like it's rotating too, so let's be another low. Be interesting when they combine and see what happens. But there's Ontario again, getting drenched, just like it was before. That's where I am, right about there. Click on the severe. There's our rainfall warning. And of course, with the advertisement there, I can't check for lightning, can't check for tornadoes, which I doubt there's any. Because once again, I can't close the ad. But that's okay. Oh, I don't know what I did. Oh, okay. All of a sudden there was a blank map, but the animation was still moving. I didn't know what was going on. So that's what we're facing for tonight, this evening, and overnight probably. Well, here we are, next day. It's still raining. But at least I'm out on a monster now. I get about 8.5 kilometers out of a charge right now with the crappy batteries that are in it. Yeah, a round trip to Walmart is about 7.5 kilometers, so it's about my limit. I can go there and come back. Not exactly comfortably, because anytime I get home, as soon as I stop, you know, the meter goes down and gives me my low battery warning. So I don't know how long I'm at that level, but at least I know I can make it there and back. Now here's something of interest. It's now Tuesday evening, or afternoon, sorry, and we get a special weather statement. Wet weather to return later in the week. Since ground is already saturated, there may be potential for some local flooding. Rain will spread back into southern Ontario from the southwest Thursday, reaching eastern Ontario by Friday morning. Total rainfall amounts may approach 50 millimeters in some locales before the rain tapers to showers on the weekend. There may be localized flooding in the area where the rain is the heaviest. Environment Canada will monitor the situation and issue further statements and possible alerts as the event draws closer. So this is what we've been getting. Everything's just kind of cycling through here. Kind of makes me laugh. Wet weather's returning. I don't understand how the wet weather can return if it hasn't actually left. So she's looking at the forecast. Wednesday's the only day that we're not going to get, which will be tomorrow. The only day that we're not supposed to get rain. So I guess that's enough of a break for him to figure it stopped and then the next day it rains again, it'll be returning. So it kind of makes me laugh. But it looks like right now, I'm like right in here. It looks like right now everything's just kind of clearing out. And this might be our beginning of our clear Wednesday. Because it is just about 8 o'clock right now, p.m. So daylight's going away. I see raindrops in the puddles outside at the moment still. So there's still a little bit here still affecting us, but looks like it'll be going away soon. So we'll see what happens. So it's now Wednesday, our one and only dry day this week. And I'm looking through the forecast and stuff, and I see this. Most significant cold snap in decades for southern Ontario. Okay, Wednesday, May 3rd, which is today. The month of May begins on an unseasonable note for southern Ontario, with an extended stretch of below seasonal temperatures in the region's forecast. The cold snap, which is expected to last 5 days, will be one of the most significant spans of cold weather Toronto has seen in May. And the record for the most single-digit days in a row in May is 5, and that was back in May of 1974. Currently, we're forecast to get 5 days of single digits again, making it one of the most prolonged cold periods in history. So we're kind of been an interesting spring, to say the least. Like all this wet and now, possible snow. The cooler temperatures are the product of a few factors, namely a cutoff upper level low system developing in the southeastern US, coupled with a cool, modified Arctic air plummeting south across the prairies late week. I don't know what modified means, but it's cold. By Friday and Saturday, those systems phase together, and like I figured they would. And the highest terrain in southern Ontario could see some flakes over the weekend. This is still subject to change a bit. Orangeville, Gravenhurst, Huntsville may see a potential for accumulating snow through the weekend, and the Greater Toronto area too. Shouldn't be surprised if flakes fall near the end of the weekend. Oh goody. So, it's a little cool today, but I'm heading out. Nice. Other than that, it's nice. It's sunny. Yeah, I'm gonna go see what the river looks like. I have a feeling it's going to be spilling its banks today. I haven't seen it for a couple of days. And yep, just like I figured. The river's spilling its banks. Unless you see this all the time, you can't really tell on the video here, but the side that I'm up on a hill. And on the other side, the water's back into the field a little bit. It's over its bank. So it's definitely spilling its bank. At this point, now on the other side of the road, it's a little more obvious. The water's coming up into the field. Yeah, it's starting to flood the field out a little bit. So I'm down in the trail now, and this first bridge goes over a flood channel, and there's water in it already. Yeah, it's not coming up to the field, so I'm thinking it might be just ponding. And another channel here that goes along the trail. I'll show you what this looks like on the map and the direction that the water goes through and everything. But at the moment, the ditch is full. It's part of the flood channel by the field here. There's actually two of them. can't see the other one. That goes all the way down. And once you get a little bit further, I can see that part of the field is flooded. So this end seems to be up a little higher than the other end, which I find confusing, but this end is actually lower as the water is flowing. The river normally flows from behind me to in front of me, that direction. And when it comes to the flood channels, it goes down this direction, so it kind of makes sense that this is going to be a lower area, so when the water's rising, it's going to come in here first. And this bridge here goes over another flood channel, and this is where it normally flows back to the river. But this seems to be where it's starting from right now. So the river's high enough to be in the exit, but not high enough to be in the entrance. I'll give you a better look at it. Because even when it's not flooded here, this is usually a swampy area, so it's always wet. Okay, this is the road that I came in on. This was the first perspective I gave, actually right over here. First perspective that I gave you, and said the water was up in the fields, up just in this area, just a little bit right here. But that's always the first place it comes in. And then I crossed the road. This is where the water was coming into the field on this side. So now I'm down in the trail. This is the first flood channel bridge right here. And this is the second one. This is where I'm at right now that I'm showing. And I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here and give you a better idea. So normally when the river's flooding, it comes through this field, comes up this flood channel, goes out around the field, and goes underneath this channel and back to the river. And the other channel falls along the side of the trail right through here. So with this part of the field flooded right now, then it tells me this part of the river is higher than this part, or it's closer to being at this level than this part is at this level, because this is all downhill going that direction. So what I'm thinking right now is the water's high enough to be up in the lower part, and that might be where the water under this bridge is coming from. It might be flowing around to it, or through here to it. But anyways, that's how it normally works. And the river floods up, it comes up through here, goes around, and comes back to the river. And all through here, there's all kinds of flood channels that it's carved through. There's one that comes from here that goes pretty much straight through there, and then this one flows into it. Unless the water's really high, then it just goes across the field. So it's kind of neat the way the river carves its own pathways, but this one here beside the trail here might have been man-made, because it looks like it's a perfectly formed ditch. So, but that's where I'm at this very moment. So now I'm getting to the point where the South Saugeen River converges with the main Saugeen River, and I can see already that there's a little bit of flooding there. So obviously the main Saugeen River is up as well. This area to the left here is usually grass, and it's all water right now. I'm kind of wondering what the park's going to look like when I get there. And just to confirm it, the swamp water on both sides of the trail is a lot higher than it was. And there's some places that actually have water that didn't have any at all last time I saw. So, it's definitely up. Now once I saw that water in the park, I thought the river's flooding, but unless it was up higher and has gone down since, then that water's just from the rain. If it is, it's a lot of water in there. But I can't see it being from the river. Two reasons, because on the left there, it would be a lot higher. And on the right, below the blocks, there's still quite a bit of a drop. So if the river was in there, it would have been closer to the top. As it is, the river's still up in the parking lot. Can't even see the boat launch today. So up to this point, it's been quite a wet spring. With kind of really weird, wild weather. But stay tuned, because it gets even more interesting. So it's not really going anywhere, but it's toast. There's nothing holding it in there but the wire. So there goes number 2.